I'm pretty sure I said this in the last video, but here is the next video of the rivalries of MTWS. Of course, the first one I talked about the main rivalry of MTWS, which was Impala and Thunderbolt. However, in this one, I wanted to talk about the other rivalries that I could think off the top of my head. Now, these are different classes of rivalries. There's racing rivalries, freestyle rivalries, rivalries in both, either way, kind of like Thunderbolt and Impala is rival no matter what, racing or freestyle. Old rivalries that have like no significance anymore whatsoever, rivalries that aren't like that big, and then there's like some other big rivalries and shit. I looked up like the last 10 minutes trying to think of all the rivalries I can remember off the top of my head, and I have them all listed now. So here we go, in no particular order of how I wrote them all down. So first, we start off with Bling and Destroyer for the first one, as these two are from the same area, Houston, which of course the trucks no longer have like their locations revealed anymore, but they still are from Houston. So basically they're kind of like teammates, which is kind of ironic since they're considered a rivalry at the same time, but they do try to one-up each other. Now, of course, I don't know the racing record between them or the freestyle stats in between them, but they do try their best out there and also to one-up each other. However, lately, although Bling made it to the last championship, whereas Destroyer missed it, Destroyer overall has been lately driving much better than Bling, especially in freestyle. Bling's been struggling lately in freestyle, like 3 freestyles in a row were like flipped too early by and large. And then after that, we actually get to kind of a new rivalry starting to pop up, and that's Crazy and Impala. And this is an exclusively freestyle rivalry, as mainly because Impala and Crazy have two things in common with each other that none of the other trucks have. They are the freestyle kings of MTWS. Although Crazy never has a freestyle title and Impala is the defending freestyle champion, Crazy used to be the freestyle king from 2009 all the way up to like 2014. What happened was, starting in 2012, Crazy had a trend where it just struggled in freestyle, really could not get anything going. Now, of course, since no one really competed against it by and large regularly, even during 2012 and into 2013 and even into early 2014, when the struggles finally were going away, it still was considered the freestyle king. But then Impala, after I finally figured out what was wrong with the steering and got that fixed, all of a sudden Impala became massively revived and became unstoppable and started winning freestyles by high scores left and right, whereas Crazy was struggling to keep up. And that's why at the end of 2014, it was kind of obvious Impala was now the freestyle king. And then in 2015, when it won its freestyle title, it finally concealed it by and large. So now Crazy, the former freestyle king, which as you know was the basis of its 10th anniversary paint, is trying so hard to get that freestyle title, king back. And honestly, there's probably only one way Crazy's gonna get that back, and that is to win a freestyle title. It can do just as good, if not better, than Impala, which, by the way, remember, Crazy's won 2 freestyles in a row, including beating Impala by 1 point last week in Anaheim, but without a freestyle title, it's just not going to be able to overcome it, most likely. And then we get to the second oldest rivalry in the league, right behind Impala and Thunderbolt, and that's Outlaw and Crazy Bull. These two, this is mostly exclusively a racing rivalry. Mainly this rivalry started because, remember, these two were the very first 2 trucks that competed in the finals in the championship. These were the finalists in the 2009 championship for the first racing title, which Outlaw won because Crazy Bull screwed up so badly in one of the biggest flops in the championship ever. And of course, these two went against each other quite often in racing, although lately it hasn't been as much over the last bunch of years. But lately now, they've gone up against each other much more frequently, like they've gone up against each other in racing the last 2 events, which they split it. Crazy Bull won in Houston back in November in the semifinals, and then Outlaw beat it this time out in Anaheim just a week or so ago. Just like Impala and Thunderbolt, this rivalry is still mostly lopsided towards Outlaw, because Outlaw wins all the damn time compared to Crazy Bull. But hey, with the 10th anniversary, in the air, and the fact that these two went against each other back-to-back events, with one of them being the semifinals, and if I remember correctly, it was almost a photo finish in that one. Maybe this rivalry can be renewed and be like the next second biggest rivalry in the league like it used to be. But now we get into some rivalries that probably a lot of you didn't really know, or some that are pretty much dead for some circumstance or another. And we start off with Eruption and Patriot. Now, this is a rivalry that probably no one really knows about, but these two, I wouldn't say they're necessarily elite racers, but they're very good racers, but their record doesn't speak of it, but they're pretty damn good. It's just that they fall short when it comes to what matters the most, like in the championship by and large. But with these two, when none of the all-stars are competing in racing, they usually are the main threats during the events, which we'll be seeing down in Arlington when these two possibly go up against each other. Now, I don't think they race that often. However, probably the most infamous times they've gone up against each other was in Seattle back in 2012, where they went up against each other in the finals in the rain, and Eruption won it. And of course, that helped get it its first ever sweep in MTWS history. But since they don't race each other that often, this rivalry is not well known or as big as it probably could be. And if these two, if one of them ever got a racing title, then maybe it would become really, really big. And now we get to the reverse of it. This is the freestyle rivalry between two trucks that are like the best freestylers behind the All-Stars, and that's Outrage and Shadowrun. Although they really don't have more of a rivalry between each other, it's more like trying to one-up each other and try and get that first ever freestyle title. And it's funny because unlike Eruption and Patriot, who are, although they aren't really that good in racing compared to the All-Stars, they have a lot of racing racing wins to be more precise. Outrage, on the other hand, and Shadowrun too. Shadowrun has just one freestyle win, and it was a freeway tie, I think it was, in San Diego back in 2014. Outrage, on the other hand, has yet to win a single freestyle, not even one. And it considers itself up there as one of the better freestylers in the league, yet it can't even get a win. Maybe down in Arlington, when it and Shadowrun are on its own, maybe it has a better shot. But by and large, although Shadowrun has a racing win, these two are not really that good racing. This is more exclusively a freestyle rivalry. And when they're driving by and large on their own down in Arlington with none of the big all-stars here, maybe these two could finally get another freestyle win, or in the case of Outrage, its first win in its 7-year history. And then we get to not really a rivalry, but kind of at the same time. And this is a dead one by and large, as it's between Wildride and MTWS. Now the only real significance of this is that these two are the official trucks of MTWS. Or in the case of Wildride, it was from 2009 to 2011. And when I mean by official, when I did like any updates to like new tires, frames, and whatever, I would always do them first on Wildride's as it was the official truck. But then in 2012, in a response to like Grinder, of course, being the official truck of Monster Jam at the time, I decided to make the MTWS truck for MTWS, and actually competed and all, but it has not competed since 2014, I believe. I don't even think it competed at all in 2015 even, as it just became a sponsorship truck and like a showcase more than anything. Although it has competed a few times since, but it's not really a competitor anymore. So by and large, this rivalry that really never existed just pretty much died. But now we finish it off with a rivalry that honestly is like 3 rivalries into one, but they're all connected towards each other, so it makes perfect sense to say this all in one time. And that is, to finish it off, the rivalry between Outlaw, Crush and Run, and Nitro. Now, there's like a rivalry, 3 different rivalries here. Outlaw and Crush and Run, Outlaw, Nitro, Nitro, Crush and Run. But now that I thought of it, if you think about it, they're kind of like a freeway rivalry between the two. Now, of course, it's not fully across the entire league. Like, when it comes to racing, oh yeah, these two are hardcore rivalries between each other in racing. But freestyle, Crush and Run is not really a good freestyle, so it's mostly just between Outlaw and Nitro. But I think with the race alone, I think this counts as a freeway rivalry. These three trucks have met each other in the finals and semifinals of major racing events, including going up against each other multiple times in the championship late. Remember, Crush and Run and Outlaw actually raced each other twice in the championship. That's the only time it's ever happened, a rematch in the championship. It's never happened since. Outlaw won it the first time in 2012, and then Crush and Run got its revenge 2 years later. And Nitro raced against Crush and Run twice in the championship, and it lost both times to Crush and Run in the semifinals. And likewise, Outlaw raced out Nitro in the semifinals in the 2010 championship, where it lost its title to Nitro, who would go on to win its title the next very race. And of course, when it comes to freestyle, Outlaw and Nitro regularly compete each other. They are two freestyle champions. They are the only ones with multiple titles too. And in fact, if it wasn't for Outlaw, Nitro could have had 2 other freestyle titles possibly that fell short of. And likewise, Nitro had to beat Outlaw to get its 2014 freestyle championship. And as we saw last time out in Anaheim, these two went against each other in racing and in freestyle. Outlaw won in racing, and in freestyle they had to tie for that lead for just a little bit. So yeah, I think even though Crush and Run does not freestyle really well, I think this is a freeway rivalry, and I think it's well deserved. But with that, I'm going to wrap up the video now. That was all the rivalries that I could think of in MTWS. I'm sure there's probably very old rivalries that I just don't know off the top of my head that are like extinct, or be it because the trucks are retired or whatever, but I couldn't think of any more. And who knows, maybe if MTWS is around for its 20th anniversary in 2029, maybe we can have even more rivalries possibly. Who knows what the future of MTWS will be, but that's the rivalries for now. But I also want to let you all know, of course, I still gotta start doing my videos on the history of MTWS, which I have yet to even do a single one on, but I actually have planned very soon, which is a video I've been wanting to do for many years leading up to the 10th anniversary. I'm thinking about showing all 6 of the racing championships and the freestyle win and runs for the championship in each individual video. So I hope to get to that eventually next.